Stay honest.
Bawal! Daming tao ah. Ano? Bakit? Ha? Ano? Ano yun? Ha? Comment kami gulo ah. Comment kami gulo. Hello, sana. Mikola pala brewer natin. Sarado ba pintuan? Uno. Ha? Oo. Yes. Okay. Oo. Oo. Yes.
Is Albion Online pay to win? And technically, this game is pay to win. You can go to the official cash store here and buy gold with real money and then use that gold and convert it to silver, okay? So I'm going to do this here, and I can buy silver, and then with silver, I can technically buy things that give me more experience and more powerful items and increase my crafting levels, my weapon skill levels, my armor levels, and all that. This is what this video is about, and I'm going to share with you exactly how much money it would cost to max out your character. It's a wild one. So let's talk about weapons. Weapons are your primary way that you deal damage in Albion Online. And if you were to just spend $100 right here on the cash shop buying the best deal possible for $99.95, you will get a bunch of gold, which you can then sell for silver, and then you can use the silver to buy Tomes of Insight. So what if you just use Tomes of Insight to level your weapon specialization, which is right over here at the very edge. You can see here I have 100 in every bow, and slightly higher in some other bows. So how much just to get one of these specializations from level 0 to 100? It is about 30 million silver. Now, there is a way to do it, and I'm going to talk about that right now. By using Tomes of Insight to level the equipment that you are wearing, you will also acquire combat fame credits if you have this auto respec turned on, which also costs you silver. It is actually more cost effective to have this turned on for the Tomes of Insight method. Otherwise, you're going to be paying much more silver. If you only use Tomes of Insight without the auto respec method, you would be paying over double, about 61.2 million silver to level something up, which would double our cost. So how much does it cost to level every single weapon tree in the game? This means that your character would be able to pick up and use every weapon at a level 100 capacity. Now, today's video, we're not calculating taking things to level 120. That is an entirely different expense. Unfortunately, it's really hard to calculate that, and it's just really hard to do. So I'm just going to pretend you only care about getting things to level 100, which is what most players do. So to level every single weapon to level 100, you're going to need 3.4 billion silver, which is totally something you can get in the game. I've done it, mostly in skins though, not so much in grinding. So basically, if you have a time machine, you can do this, otherwise pay up. It's going to cost you $42,000 through the in-game cash shop buying gold. So you're going to have to, pay for basically a new car, essentially. So if you want to max out every single armor now, and offhand helmet and boots, that's another $42,000. It's the same amount of fame, though armors do calculate, helmets calculate differently, but there are more of those nodes. So essentially it's another 3.4 billion silver. So now we're up to $84,000 just for your equipment. Actually, the calculations are a little bit different, and it turns out that it's a little bit more than 42,000 for all of your other equipment, but in the end, with your weapons and armor and helmet and boots and offhand, it's going to cost you 85,500 real dollars, converting gold into silver into Tomes of Insight to do this. Next up, what about crafting nodes? So what is crafting nodes? On the Destiny board, you can go here and you can be a plate helmet crafter, and you can craft all these different types of plate helmets. Or you can go all the way down and be a potion crafter. Hey, look, I'm a potion crafter. Yeah, poison brewer, an invisibility brewer, bootlegger. What about, crafting something else like foods? You want to be like a pie chef. What if you wanted to craft, something like harvester work boots or Skinner guards, okay? So, I have calculated the actual cost of just going to the market and buying everything needed and just mass crafting it, mass studying it, and all of that kind of fun stuff. And on average, out of all of these crafting nodes, this was like a day's worth of math, by the way. This is an insane amount of math. It ranged anywhere from 110 million silver to over 440 million silver per node. It really depends on the item and the materials required. But at an average, each node averaged 160 million silver per node. So this means $200 per node, and so you have multiple nodes. Do you want to be an Albion Online content creator, as in...
Na paano? Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam. Solo boy.
Do you want to be a YouTuber or a streamer? Well, I'm here to help. Maybe that depends on you, but also, even if you don't want to be a content creator, maybe you just want to learn some juicy tidbits from behind the scenes. Maybe you just want to know all the drama that goes on and all of the infighting and all of the struggle between the content creators, then stay tuned because it's going to be a wild ride. So before we get into the YouTube side of things, I just want to talk right now about the Twitch side of things, or just the streamer side of things in general. There is a huge discrepancy between stream viewer counts from new people entering Albion Online to people that have been here a while to people that are famous on like the PvP, like leaderboards and whatnot. There is just a massive difference. And the reason for it is just simply the quality of the streams, but also the engagement of the streamer. I'm going to give you a little bit of tips to help you out, but also I'm going to tell you all the things that I go through.
Di ko alam.
As a YouTuber trying to just communicate with some of these streamers. Let's get into that. So for those that don't realize it, on Twitch, back in the day, there was no Twitch drops, there was no free skins for watching streamers. And the view counts were insanely low. You would maybe, like the top people would maybe get 150 to like 300 people on really good days, but you wouldn't get much more than that. It was absolutely just dumpster levels of viewer counts. But if you look at Twitch today, it's a little bit different. Okay, the top streamers here. Let me just pop it up on the screen. The top streamers are getting around 2K viewers, 600, 500, 300 viewers, and sometimes these numbers jump even higher, really dependent on how many people are playing the game. But I don't really care about that because most of the views are just people getting skins. Yes, some of them are legitimate. You can check out their chats and see how long, how active their chats are compared to other streamers on other games that don't have drops. But I care more about the people at the bottom, okay? So every day, this is something I've been doing for months. Every single day, I go into these completely on the bottom viewer streams and I check them out. Now, I will say that I only go into ones that speak English because it's rude of me to go into someone's stream that does not speak the language I speak. I have no reason to try to communicate with them, and yes, I could use a translator, or they might be bilingual, but like for instance, I don't speak Spanish, so I have no reason to go into this person's stream where him and his viewers are speaking Spanish to each other. But so the first things that I look for as a viewer, and this is the tips part. If you're a Twitch streamer with 1 or 0 viewers, this is your time to listen up. But this is also if you are a viewer of these streams and you have a friend that streams, then you can pass these tips along to better help that person. So first things first, you need to use these little tags here to properly label your stream. Okay, the first thing that I'm looking for is English. Okay. We can see here, no one's really put English yet, so I'm going to scroll up and continue scrolling, okay? I also look at the title. This is Mas Buffo Ava. That's not English, so I'm not going to check that out. Here we go. We got English, all right? Now, I'm not going to actually click the stream, but another thing that I check, that's the chat icon, so I check that. I check what's going on their screen. That's cool. Now, if I were to choose or to click on this stream, I also check what's being said in the chat. So if I clicked on this stream and everyone's speaking Spanish, even though it's labeled as English, or if the streamer is speaking Spanish through voice comms, then I go to the next one. So it's actually kind of rude. A lot of Albion streamers do this. They list English and then they're not speaking English. Their chat is speaking Spanish or something else, and they're speaking another language, and I just click off immediately and never come back. Unfortunately, Albion Online in general has an extreme drought of English-speaking streamers. They're the rarest language for Albion Online. I'm serious. Even during prime time in Western civilization, if you check Twitch and you look for English-speaking streamers, you don't find them. You find a very few of them. And I'm going to go more into that later, just to kind of hammer down what I'm trying to get at. But essentially, if you speak English like I do, and it's your primary and only language, you can be the next big thing on Twitch, or just streaming in general, like even on YouTube streaming, or Facebook, or whatever. Albion has a massive demand and a drought for English-speaking streamers, so... And I don't mean as a secondary language, or if you have a very hard-to-understand accent. Okay, I mean, like, if you are born speaking English, and that's your only language, and you've completely went through schooling, grade 1 through 12, whatever. Maybe you dropped out at grade 11 or 10, or that's fine. As long as you can speak coherent English, that's a huge start, okay? But let's go back to the list now and see what else is going on, okay? Another thing, too, is I can't really show this, but when I click on a stream, maybe it's a sound problem. And so let's talk about sound problems. Dead air, what I just did right there, dead air. Dead air is when you stop speaking and you don't constantly talk. Now, this is a really hard to learn skill. It helps if you have kind of mental disorders, I suppose, so that you just ramble on and on endlessly. But if you just have dead air, people